A former New York Knicks player recently made comments about Jalen Brunson and his game. While most of his comments were praiseworthy, he ended the segment by stating that Jalen Brunson can't pass. We're going to look into who made these comments and exactly what was stated. Also, a former NBA All-Star could potentially be available soon. We're going to look into who that is and if the New York Knicks should add him to add some veteran presence to their locker room. We're going to break down this and so much more today. Let's get started. Theo Pinson, a former New York Knicks player, recently spoke out about Jalen Brunson and stated that he can't pass. He made these comments on a podcast that he was visiting, and he gave some really good comments and high praise for Jalen Brunson when he started the interview. But when he was ending the segment, he made these comments about Jalen Brunson, which I think were a little unfair. Roll the clip.
A slept-on player, bro. Jalen Brunson. What he did.
Slept on? Oh, back then.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
When he was with us with Dallas, well, with Dallas. Yeah. When I was with them too, but he was, bro, what he did in the playoffs, bro, he was, JB nice.
JB cold.
JB cold, bro.
It's crazy because I've been watching JB since like high school, and JB was nice when he played on the EYBL circuit.
Doing the same
he was doing the same. Like, he's smart. He's a true traditional point guard.
I don't know about true traditional. He's just short.
He's short, but he's smart though.
He can't pass. JB not passing.
He make the right plays.
JB will tell you he don't want to pass. He make the right plays.
He make the right plays.
He made the right play, but he don't want to pass.
I'm sure it's a lot of
people.
He's
the one little guy I know that actually know. Him and Kai, irrational post-up players. Not irrational. I'll take that back. Irrational is a wild word. They can post up, but they always want to post up. They want to go to the post all the damn time. I'm like, bruh, just break somebody down, bruh. They want to.
So that interview with Theo Pinson on the Run Your Race podcast started off very positive. As you heard, he was saying a lot of praiseworthy things about Jalen Brunson, his game, the fact that he's always been cold, he's been slept on, he's been playing like this for years, and a lot of people didn't notice. So shout out for Theo Pinson for saying these positive things about Jalen Brunson initially. And a lot of what he said initially, I actually agree with. Everybody in the league slept on Jalen Brunson. Everybody in the league thought the New York Knicks overpaid Jalen Brunson. And now nobody is saying any of those comments anymore. But let's get back to those really crucial comments that he made. Jalen Brunson's not a true point guard. He can't pass. He doesn't like to pass. Let me address that really quickly. Jalen Brunson has never led his own team. He's never been the point guard of his very own team. So you can't say after 1 year with the Knicks and what you saw with Dallas that equals can't pass. I don't know if you knew this, but Jalen Brunson actually averaged last season 6.2 assists. That's a career high for assists for him. And he's only going to get better in terms of assists and chemistry with this team. You got to remember, early on, chemistry wasn't there with the Knicks. They had to find it. Headed into next season, they have mostly the same roster intact. So that chemistry should be able to be built on really fast. And if that's the case, I'd argue that Jalen Brunson will make a lot more assists and a lot more passes next season. But let's also talk about this. If Jalen Brunson passes the ball, how many times did he pass the ball to a shooter in the corner who was open but they missed the shot? Probably a lot of times, right? Those are potential assists that could have been added to his total. So I don't want to hear that Jalen Brunson doesn't pass the ball, because I saw him pass the ball all last season. I think what's fair to say is that he plays a little bit more ISO ball than he plays team ball in terms of passing the ball all around. And I think we noticed that in terms of Emmanuel Quickley running point and Jalen Brunson running point. Jalen Brunson running point is he's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to try to break down the defenses. He's definitely going to post you up. So shout out to Theo Pinson for mentioning that, because even though he's short, like Kyrie Irving, he's definitely going to try his best inside the paint to post you up and take you off the dribble with his elite footwork. And he does that a lot of the time. So you really can't hate on him for doing that because it works for him. but you could argue that he could pass a little bit more. He could pass that ball around the perimeter a little bit more because the ball is probably going to get back to him if he passes it around. And likely everybody's going to be more engaged in the game if they touch the ball. So it is credit and good to a point guard to be able to handle the ball that way and play that way. But that may not be Jalen Brunson's style. He likes to methodically break down defenses, get in the paint, and score. Or if he's double teamed or he doesn't have the best shot, he has a high enough IQ and enough good court vision to find the player that's open so they can make the shot. But unfortunately, sometimes they're not making the shot. So what do you want them to do, Theo Pinson? What do you want him to do on offense that's better? Because he's breaking down defenses. Tom Thibodeau doesn't run any type of offensive scheme. It's dribble handoff, and oh, let me remember, dribble handoff. So Jalen Brunson is asked to basically hold this ball and create something for his team. It's not like with Team USA with Steve Kerr, who's running plays and telling people where they need to be, where Brunson needs to find people, where people should be cutting. That's a different system. The Tom Thibodeau system, at least on offense, doesn't allow for that. It basically says Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson are your main two guys. Clear out, let them do what they need to do, and stay ready and open and ready to make that shot because you're likely going to get the ball if they're double teamed or triple teamed. And that's exactly what we saw. I think it's wildly unfair to say that Jalen Brunson does not pass the ball and that he's not a passer and that he can't pass. He averaged a career high in assists this past season. What do you mean he can't pass? I respect the fact that you are a former Knick. I loved your energy on the bench. But let's please keep it fair and keep it straight. Because right now, saying he can't pass is basically like throwing away his last season with the New York Knicks. He can pass. How about he passes some players who can hit some open shots? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe cutting more should be a thing. Maybe the Knicks should implement more cutting plays and more plays where players are moving around the perimeter versus staying in the corner where defenders can stick on them so they never have an open shot. Or maybe hit your open shots when you have them. Jalen Brunson is one of the best additions to the New York Knicks that we've seen in ages. Can he be better with a few things? Absolutely. But does he do some things right now extraordinarily well? Absolutely. Do I want him to stop doing those things? No, because that's what makes him so good. Development and improving your game is one thing. Changing it is another. He has a great game already. If he can implement some more passes into that game, I would argue Jalen Brunson would be damn near unstoppable in terms of a point guard in the East. Because if you add that little caveat to his game, he's going to thrive even more. Defenses are going to have fits with him. He's going to be harder to guard, and you're not going to know what he's going to do at any given moment in time. And for a point guard to have that type of threat in your bag, that's impressive and that's important. And I think Jalen Brunson does have that. And I think Jalen Brunson is going to shock a lot of people next season in terms of his passing and how much he's going to pass for the New York Knicks. Watch and see. Blake Griffin, who is a Boston Celtic right now, could be available in free agency. Now, this was first reported by the Boston Globe, and according to them, the Celtics would likely welcome a return by the veteran big man Blake Griffin, who played well last year and was a strong locker room presence. But for now, it appears unlikely as Griffin considers his future. Now, I'm going to say this once because it needs to be said. There is no real veteran presence on the New York Knicks right now. The person who had that role in Taj Gibson, gone. Derrick Rose, gone. You need somebody else to fill that role. Even if he may not play a lot of minutes, you still need it. Blake Griffin, former All-Star, huge veteran presence, playoff experience. Oh, and he plays the power forward position. Sign him. Pick him up and sign him. Blake Griffin may not be the same player he used to be. His knees are definitely not what they used to be either. But he can still contribute. He can still add that veteran presence that you need in the locker room. And he still adds to a position of need for the New York Knicks. It checks every box. And likely, he's not going to cost you barely anything. So the risk is low and the reward is high. New York, please. Knicks, please. Think about this. I know Josh Hart is going to play some spot minutes at the 4. I know, per SNY's Ian Bagley, you're comfortable going into next season with 14 players. Cool. But I beg of you, if Blake Griffin is available, definitely go out and take him, sign him, and add him to this Knicks team. Because you can't get a type of player like that in terms of experience, knowledge, and veteran presence right now anywhere. And the New York Knicks need that. I would love to see Blake Griffin on this New York Knicks team. And I hope Leon Rose will add him. But if you're asking me in realistic terms, will this happen? Will they add him? My answer to that, my honest answer to that, unfortunately, is no. And that's because of SNY's Ian Bagley reporting that the Knicks are comfortable heading into next season with 14 players on their roster and Josh Hart playing the backup 4 position. And since that's the case, this addition will likely not happen. But in my opinion, it should. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.